Yes, welcome back to the second stanza of the program, The Conversation, coming to you from TV 360 here in Lagos, Nigeria. My name remains Nelson Ekujimi, and I stay with me in the studio, Richard Emmanuel Adeyinka. Richie Baba, thank you for being with us.
Oh, my pleasure.
Yes, in this second stanza of the program, we'll look at subnationals' contractual agreement obligations and the fallouts. Just recently, 3 of the presidential jets belonging to the Federal Republic of Nigeria were reportedly seized in France due to a court judgment as a result of a contractual obligation entered into by the Ogun State government, of which the other party claimed Ogun State government had defaulted. And the other party went to court in France and got a court order to seize the Nigerian presidential jets, as well as also made attempts to also confiscate some other national assets domiciled in the diaspora. Well, the federal government of Nigeria rose to the occasion and issued a statement and also made it known that she's going to fight to recover those properties within the ambit of international laws. Fortunately for us, the then governor of Ogun State, Senator Ibukule Amusun, who was in the saddle when that contract took place, has come out to state his own side of the story. And also, for me, another angle to the story is that what has been exposed now is that it seems in sourcing or in entering into contractual obligations outside the shores of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the subnational, which is the states, don't take the Federal Ministry of Foreign Affairs as well as the Ministry of Justice
along
in
doing all that.
Because we all know that if you want to sign any contract outside this country, you need some international expertise. And these 2 ministries that we have mentioned, they have the apparatus as well as the authority to do that. So what it has shown clearly is that as a people, we have shared our responsibility, and that is what has brought us this embarrassment that we have found ourselves, even as we try to get out of it. And looking at it, I was like, when Ogun State government was entering into this contract, and we know that the guaranteeing authority is the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
That is who they know.
That's who they know. Yes, at the international level, yes. It's just like I was at a meeting and a local government chairman said she wrote a letter to the Federal Ministry of Works on a federal government property that they want to have a collaboration. He said the ministry now wrote back to her and said, Madam, we don't know local government. What we know is the states. Go and write your state government, let your state government relate with us. Because a baby cannot jump over his father and want to go and meet grandfather. No. Grandfather will say, go and call your father. Let's come with him. Yes. So that is exactly where we are. So looking at this scenario, I think the Ogun State government in entering into that obligation didn't do well.
Yes.
And
that's government of Benga Daniel.
Yes.
Enter into that agreement.
Yes, enter into that agreement. Inherited by Ibukule Amusun.
Cancelled.
Yes, cancelled the contract.
So it had nothing to do with the current
administration of Dapo Abiodun. Yes. So how did we get into this mess? Because I'm sure, or I want to say, don't let me say I'm sure. I want to say that this will not be the first, and it might not be the last. We might have other state governments.
They have done something that will materialize later. After we said
so we need to start querying those that are
right now.
Yes, we need to start looking through the
federal government should call
all of them. What agreement have you entered into before we came into office? So that we have the books.
That is it. It's important.
It's important, yes.
And one of the things Gonjo Iweala wrote in the book, was the fact that Nigerian officials, intentionally go into contracts that are not implementable, that will make Nigeria to pay penalties.
Let us even remind our viewers. Have you forgotten that when the P&ID judgment first came, and they said Nigeria was supposed to pay some millions of dollars, it was President Muhammadu Buhari who refused.
And
ordered the Attorney General to investigate with the EFCC. And that was how we were able to get ourselves out of
the mess.
The mess. And even now the court has given judgment that they should pay us compensation. You can imagine we would have paid about, is it $15 billion?
Yes, in fact, maybe the value of our budget
yes, because like you have rightly said, that Okonjo-Iweala said, some government officials will intentionally go and dip our hands. And at the end of the day, they will get their own cuts.
That is it. That when Nigeria is penalized, they pay compensation, so they get their own cut. But in this case, which my state, unfortunately, has brought
soiled the whole country
to the national, in fact, international mess, has created the international mess for Nigeria. You know, let's look at the issues. The governor, it is just unfortunate that.
And you are from the same place with the governor, the then governor, Otunba Gbenga Daniel. You are both from the Jebu axis.
You see, Otunba Gbenga Daniel, Ibikule Amuso and Akpo Abiodun, three friends turned enemy because they witch-hunted themselves with the power of the state. You know, almost a standstill fight that you will not do this, you will not do that. I don't know how we can. It is because of that fight, that enmity that developed between them, that now it doesn't matter. We have had this before, that government is a continuum.
Yeah.
Whatever you meet, it is assumed that
you inherit the assets and liabilities.
Your predecessor would have done these things in good faith, in the interest of the state. Now, it doesn't mean that without consideration for the legal implication of what you are doing, you just feel that you can just cancel all contracts without regard for what will happen later. Yes, Governor Ibikule Amosu did it, and it looks like he has, of course, he's no longer in government.
Yeah, but you know, in his defense thesis, I'll call it a thesis. He made mention of the fact that there was this battle of ownership. That at a point in time, the Chinese government now said the two companies who are battling for it are not even the original owners of the project, that it belongs to. So he said that was one of the reasons why, as a government, they couldn't go ahead with it, because they didn't know who was the rightful owner or the impersonator. But be that as it may, if he could have access to the government of the People's Republic of China, there was nothing stopping him from looking at the legal implications.
It is important
to
look at it, because the penalty is not going to be. Just look at what we are facing now. Look at what, because these people, he has many implications. Now, if anybody is coming to enter into foreign investors, as our governors are, president has been going around.
Even our governors are also going around for foreign
investors. Those people will be wary. That is why when they are signing agreements, they don't put it under the jurisdiction of our local laws. They go international, knowing that maybe lack of confidence in our judicial system, knowing that when they get abroad.
No, I don't think it's lack of confidence. I believe strongly that when you are entering into an agreement that, extends beyond your borders,
so it
is natural that.
So now that you have it, before you cancel it, now with I'm not sure it is possible that the Ministry of Foreign Affairs knows about it
No, I don't think so, because the Minister of Foreign Affairs was complaining.
That's why should they do
this?
So
yes.
if you are entering into international agreements beyond the border of Nigeria, it is important that you carry the Ministry of Justice,
External Affairs,
and the External Affairs must be involved.
Must be involved.
So they tell you all of that.
The international implications.
So that is for Benga Daniel. So the Bikule Amosu that cancelled, it is important that you also call them before you cancel. Before you take so they step. Advise you that
this is
you
where
cannot do this, you cannot do this, so that we avoid this international embarrassment. And the president, I don't see any reason why the president cannot call all the governors to, when they get to Federal Executive Council meeting, and ask them.
No, maybe when next they have the fake meeting. Maybe Mr.
It is important that it comes on board and you put it on the table. Don't just do this. Don't just go into an agreement with international organization without informing us. And then before you cancel too, you have to inform us.
Well, thank you very much, Richard. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is how far I want to go on this edition of The Conversation. We have had a great conversation here today. Richard, thank you for coming.
My pleasure. I'm happy.
Yeah. So, viewers, that is the program for today. Till we come your way again next time, please continue to watch The Conversation coming to you from TV 360 here in Lagos, Nigeria. Have a great day. Bye-bye.